Hey guys, welcome back to the BAE podcast. I am so excited. We are back with our Mindset Mantra series, and I have my dear friend Joevan Palmer here. Jovan, I'm going to let you introduce yourself for the people, and then we're going to jump right in.
Oh, for sure. What's going on, everybody? My name is Joevan Palmer. Also go by Coach Joe from the podcast. I am a mental health specialist as well as currently obtaining my master's in social work to become a licensed therapist here in the Atlanta area. I also have a podcast myself, Living Best the Podcast, where we share traumatic stories it's a safe space where people can just share their stories and get their journeys out and to understand that, you are not alone in this journey called life and that somebody else has gone through exactly what you've gone through, if not 10 times worse. So here I am, excited to be on today. LaShana, thanks for having me.
I love it. Jovan, I'm jacking his name up, y'all. Let's get it right. So, congratulations for being in pursuit of your master's because listen, I've been in the game for about 25 years and it changed my life. Being a therapist literally saved my life. And the reason why I got into the field was because of my own dysfunctional childhood junk, trauma, junk, funk, fill in the blank. So, we're talking about mindset today, but it's really cool because you and I both are in the mental health field. And when you add that to entrepreneurship, because that's a whole nother gamut beast, right?
Absolutely.
Like, how has that been for you to jump into entrepreneurship? You're in the mental health field. You're also doing coaching and helping others to heal. And then you're in all these entrepreneurial communities. Like, what does that feel like? And like, what has come out for you in regards to just incidental learnings and teaching, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so it's a journey for sure because I'm around so many types of different businesses. So I'm around healthcare, I'm around, marketing, I'm around you name it, I'm around it. So it's just that you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. Oh, that's cool too. This is cool too. And it's just trying to find that balance to just kind of remain true to what you've been called to do has been like one of my biggest hurdles. And like, I think I had like an epitome this year. It's like, yo, you need to stick with the main thing. The main thing will take you far as long as you stick with it. Right. So I'm back, like really, really back into my mental health kick, of course, with the podcast, the launch of me getting back to mental health and really just focusing on these things because it's easy, to be in these circles, it's very easy to get caught up in some of everything. Wanting to have your hands on everything is the hardest thing not to want to do. So what I've had to do is just really scale back and ask myself, okay, what are some things that you can drop? What are some things that you can pretty much let go of that won't hurt, that may hurt you financially, but it'll also boost you in your own personal business. So that's where I'm at right now in this area of my life now is just letting things go to really move forward in this mental health space and really get some things going.
Yes. And I love that you're sharing this because I think this is a good problem for us to have. And I'm going to say us because I struggle with the same thing. I'm up here doing websites, graphics, funnels, painting tips. I'm hosting, I'm doing the mosting. And I'm like, LaShana, do what you do best.
Yeah.
And then the other part of me is like, well, why can't you do it all? And so now I'm realizing once you master the thing and you at least make 6 figures from it, like that's my baseline, then let's move on to something else instead of doing 20 here, 30 here, 40 here. And then you're spreading yourself thin. And I tell my clients, if you're doing all the things, something's going to drop.
Absolutely. Correct.
But when we can plan, we can be more proactive instead of reactive and be more empowered. So I love that you're sharing that. And shout out to the Do It Ugly brand. I'm rocking it today.
Shout out to Kelly.
Yes, I'm going to drop the link below if you want to grab it and support the movement. But speaking of Do It Ugly, because I met you when I first got into the entrepreneurial game at the E-Complex, and I know you were kind of getting your grips in different things, but how has it been when it comes to mastering your mindset, but also serving in excellence in what you know you're called to do?
It's been a struggle for me, honestly. And I say it's been a struggle because the circle that I'm around, they want me to, in a sense, I don't want to say in a sense, follow their path, but kind of latch on to what they have going on. And what they're doing, I thoroughly respect and I thoroughly enjoy it because like, it's opened me up, it's opened so many doors for me.
Yeah.
But at the same exact time, it's just that I know there's a space that I'm still called to, and I have to really like focus and hone in on this thing. So like now it's like, okay, how do you find the balance to do both? Like you said earlier, how do you find the balance to do both and really just kind of make it work and make it make sense? So what I've had to do now is just kind of start outsourcing some of my services to where I don't put myself in the position. I just kind of outsource, like my name is on it, but I may have like a VA or another person taking care of the actual task at hand. So it kind of helps me to still kind of stay true to like, making sure my schoolwork gets done, making sure the business work gets done. And of course, whatever clients I may have as well, their work is getting done as well. So it's been an uphill battle for me, but I'm learning. I think I finally like got that balance of how to make it work and make it make sense and make it like the balls being dropped and stuff. It's just when you're doing too much, like you said, that ball gets dropped, and then what happens is you start looking bad.
You're right.
And it kind of pulls you out of your character because like, yo, like that's not the person I know. That's not the person I hired. That's not the person who seamlessly I saw somebody execute something, but it's like you're not showing that perspective. You're not showing up in my business that same exact way.
Yep. That is so huge. And a couple things come up for me. Number one, it sounds like you're learning to operate in CEO mode and be the visionary and delegate and exert your energy in areas that is necessary. And the other part of me is really thinking about, one thing that you had to decide was to leave your 9-to-5.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And I was there too. And what I found was that I was so burned out and exhausted, I didn't have time to even talk to my own kid. I had back-to-backs because I was an adjunct, a 9-to-5er, and running my business full time. And I had to ask myself, my future self, right? Because sometimes our current self, we're not ready for the real.
Nah,
so I said, does the future LaShana want to continue to be on the hamster wheel and not practice what I preach? Because I teach my clients, operate in your zone of genius, stand full in your power, set boundaries, do what you love. But I wasn't doing that. So how does it feel to be like a full-time entrepreneur and retiring yourself from your 9-to-5?
Some days I wish I can go back and give this whole entrepreneurship stuff up.
Oh, I love the transparency.
Yeah, in all honesty, it's just all honesty, at a 9-to-5, there's a certain task that you have to do every day, and that's it. And then you go home, relax, and live your life.
Right.
But on the other side of things, it's like, well, on my 9-to-5, there's also a cap. So what my income could be, what I can make, what can come in. And it's just, I know I have unlimited opportunities on the side of entrepreneurship versus in my 9-to-5 is just you fighting against 1,000 other people for this promotion. You're fighting, against, government, because I work for Department of Family and Children Services. So the government, the local government controls all of your rates. They control all of the income that comes in. They control all the hiring and the freezes and stuff.
Right.
So it's just the decision to leave when I left last May it was a tough one. It was a scary one, but it was one that I don't regret. Even though some days I'm like, what, I'm over this entrepreneurship stuff. I'm tired of working so much. I'm tired of trying to figure out how to create a product here or how to create a coaching program here and how to make it sense and make, get clients and all types of stuff.
Right.
That stuff is exhausting. I think it's a lot of stuff people are like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. But it's like, you got to realize what comes with entrepreneurship. You're your own boss. So it's like, when creating your own schedule, you have to have some discipline. Like I'm just now figuring out how to get myself up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Well, kudos to you for 5 o'clock in the morning. Because this is knocked out. Okay. I'm good to get up at 8 for the morning meetup, and I might catch the replay. So please give yourself credits for what you are doing, because you don't have to do that.
Absolutely. You're right. Yeah.
But once you form those new habits and discipline, what happens for you and your clients?
It's like, for sure. It opens up a whole new window and a whole new world for them as well as me.
Because when we are well and we are healthy and we are mentally sound, the work that we do is so much more impactful. Like, you can put a filter on and put on a happy face, but what happens when you click the off button or the leave button? We might be going to the bed and go to sleep, right? It shouldn't be that way. And it's up to us on how we want to balance balance above everything.
Yeah.
But some people will say there's no such thing as balance. What's your thought on that?
That's a lie. There's a such thing as balance.
Okay.
And I say because I've had to learn within being entrepreneurship is that you can have balance and still be a hardworking entrepreneur. You know, you don't have to be at every meeting. You don't have to fill your schedule up every day. So I'm making there's some days where I make my Mondays, my Sundays, my self-care days where I turn my phone off sometimes, or I might go for a bike ride, or I might do an extended workout where it's just, I've had to learn I can't be working 7 days a week. That's not healthy to me, especially somebody in the mental health field. You can't be a mental health expert and then say, oh, you're working 7 days a week, killing yourself. That doesn't make any sense. It's an oxymoron. So, it's that whole balance thing. So I believe you have to create balance in order to be a healthy entrepreneur in this space, especially now today's time, because there's so much going on. Conference here, webinars here, podcasts here. It's so much going on that people they're pulling you left and right. Yes. So I believe if you don't have balance, you won't have a fulfilled life.
Factual. And I don't know if you noticed my body language when you talked about working 7 days a week. So I just got a therapist. I haven't had one in years. A therapist needs a therapist, a coach needs a coach. And what she helped me to see when we were looking at my schedule, I have been working 10, 11 days straight. But my block is because I love what I do, and because it's not 8 hours consecutively, I don't feel like I'm working. I feel like I'm living my life. It's flexible. But she said, no, LaShana. And my complaint to her was, I'm not being productive. I'm not feeling motivated. But then she asked me about our day. And that's why self-reflection in a neutral party is so key. When I named off everything, she was exhausted by hearing it. And she was like, so what you doing this weekend? I was like, oh, well, I got an event and then I got a clubhouse room. She was like, and this is week 2. She's like, so you're working 8 days in a row again? I was like, that's not. She was like, yes, it is. And then my not manipulative self, but I tried to enable myself and flip it. I said, well, is that a bad thing? If I'm an entrepreneur and I get to make my own schedule, isn't this what I work towards? She said, yes, but not if you are not completing the goals that you're complaining about you're not able to do. Clutch the pearls that are not here. And so mindset, conversations, active listening, perception is so key, because I can literally tell myself that nothing's wrong. When we all know we all have an area of improvements, not a weakness, but we all have stuff we got to work on. So I'm just getting chills because I think coaching and therapy we get to double dip.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So what do I mean by that? What do I mean by double dipping? As we serve, whether you're a coach, whether you're a therapist, whether you're a consultant, when you're talking through the problems and you're mapping things out and you're strategically executing things, you're learning as you're serving. And that's why I love the art. It's literally art.
I agree. 1,000%.
Yeah. So I want to move into what would you tell somebody who is thinking about doing entrepreneurship, but they see the glitz, the glam, the Corvettes, Ferraris, Maybachs, whatever them cars they be driving, the Miami trips, the 100K followers, 500K this, but then they see the hustle and bustle of those are just starting, and there's a big gap, there's a big discrepancy. What is the truth?
The truth is, it's not what it's cracked up to be. The truth is not what it's like, whatever you see is not actually all of that. That's the truth. The truth is that work on yourself before you step into entrepreneurship. What I realized is that a lot of my negative flaws that I didn't see in the 9 to 5 actually trickled into my entrepreneurship life. I thought I was a well-organized person. Entrepreneurship proved that to be wrong. I thought, that I was pretty much on time. Entrepreneurship proved that to be wrong, because I'll be finishing up one project and let me get 10 more minutes in real quick. And next thing I know, that 10 minutes turned to 20, 30 minutes. And I'll run late to the next project. I realized, I'm double booking myself.
Yes.
I realized, that I think entrepreneurship would definitely expose you for the person that you really are. If you're not ready. And I question myself sometimes, Jay, were you all the way ready? And I feel like, you're never going to be all the way ready, but it's just, you got to catch your negative character flaws ASAP before you start, getting customers and, getting clientele and really like, showing up for these people. Because when you show up and you don't show up 1,000% the way they expect you to do, it's going to show in your reviews, it's going to show in if they are repeat customers or not, it's going to show in if they refer you out. So I would say definitely check yourself first, and pretty much if you got some trauma going on, fix that. Check that out first before you step into entrepreneurship, but don't let that be a hindrance as to why you don't do it.
I love it because you segue into what I do. I am a business therapist that helps entrepreneurs move those mental blocks that are stopping them and impeding them from thriving in life and business. And it's funny, I met with a client who like signed up for one of my 6-week intensive, and she was a therapist, and she felt like she didn't need the first phase, which was mindset. And mind you, mindset is threaded throughout, but we start with getting to the nitty gritty of what's truly blocking you. Where did it come from? She wanted to skip it. And in that moment, I didn't have clear boundaries, and I said, okay, that's fine. But guess what started coming up weeks later?
Everything else that
we were supposed to address.
Yep.
So 2 things. Number 1, we ended up ending her contract. She ended up pursuing something else. We weren't able to work together because I realized we can't let people impact our framework and our process, no matter if it's about the money, the relationship. And then secondly, mindset and addressing your unresolved trauma, whether it's childhood junk, whether you were bullied, whether you didn't grow up in a home that was warm and fuzzy, and now when people give you praise, you don't know how to accept it, or even if you're not pricing yourself competitively because you're still trying to figure out, do you belong, in that imposter syndrome sinking in, right? And so I love that you mentioned we got to make sure that we do our own work, but I will also add that doesn't mean you can't start, but just know you're going to have to address that, and you might as well do it proactively or in conjunction if you literally want this thing to be sustainable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I totally agree with that. So we do something kind of fun here. And I wouldn't say fun, but I would say it's more so outside of the box. So I want to ask you, what would you tell your 15-year-old self if you could literally talk to him right here? I'm looking you dead in the face, right? What would you tell him?
I would say, do it ugly now. I would say, figure out what you want to do and don't let nobody change your mind. I think at a young age, we have so many influential voices in our heads that we don't stick with the main thing. And I know that because I've been there before, where there's been times where I wanted to do something. It was, you shouldn't do that. That doesn't make any sense. Ooh, do this, do that. And I'm realizing that had I just stuck with what I wanted to do and lived out my dream out loud, there wouldn't be any other issues going on right now. I wouldn't be like, where I am now, trying to figure it out, and live life on your own demand and on your own journey.
Yeah. I like that. Now, I believe that everything happens for a reason, right? Now, not second guessing or disagreeing with what you just said, but I believe that life happens for us and not to us. And let's just say that we had an idea, we didn't do it. When we decided to do it, we were probably more ready and even had some other learning opportunities to make us execute it in a different way.
Yeah.
But I hear what you're saying. Be your full authentic self and stop letting the inner critic or people around you dictate your actions.
Right.
And if you think about it, if you think about the Kanyes, the Rihannas, Jay-Z's, Oprah's, Grant Cardone's, whoever is out there that was kind of a wild card, but they're winning, it's because they stepped outside of the box instead of getting in the box.
Right.
So I feel you on that. And for me, I would tell my 15-year-old self to be a kid. Stop trying to be grown. Stop trying to work and lie on applications at the age of 14 so you can make money, because the money is going to come. And then I would go back and be like, wow, maybe that's why I have the grit, the motivation, the determination, the just push, because I started at such a young age. So it's just like, it's so many ways you could slice the pie. But I think thinking back, that self-reflection, but giving yourself grace to know that everything that happened for us, and we're gonna be all right.
For sure.
We gonna be all right. Okay, I'll stop. So as we wrap up, because I see you looking at the clock, I don't know what you're doing.
My window's open, so I get distracted when I see stuff pass by.
Hey, ADD.
Right, all day.
What is one word that describes your experience on the BAE podcast?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say that's a really good question. One word that describes my experience on the BAE podcast would
all I need is one word.
It would have to be insightful.
Good. Awesome. And that is a compliment. I mean, we literally been on here for about 20, 25 minutes, right? But I believe that when like-minded, synergized energies come together, magical, right? And we definitely need to connect more offline, just hash it up about mental health and all the things. I would love to support you. But what would you like to share with our audience in regards to how they can reach you and what kind of person or situation that you are like in the pocket, the number one person to help support? Like, in short, what do you really do and what are you working on, and how we can connect if it works for us?
Absolutely. So you can reach me on social media at Jovan J Palmer. That's JOEVANJPALMER on all social media outlets. What I'm working on right now is, I like to tagline myself as the trauma coach. I love trauma. I don't know why I love it. I guess because I've experienced it and I've gone through my own trauma. So I believe that if you've gone through some type of sexual trauma, sexual assault, I'm the right person for you. I've been working on this thing for some time. I'm in school for this right now. It's my concentration. This is what I love to do. I love to help people through these traumatic situations. And so if you are somebody who's gone through a traumatic situation and that you've gone through it, especially within the sexual space, hit me up. Let's get connected. Let's see if I'm a good fit for you and see how we can get you on that journey to healing.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I love that you are being bold in your serving. Some may say, ooh, I don't know, sexual trauma. Yeah, that's what I'm going to help you with. And guess what? It's a whole lot of people who need you. And when you're that specific with your niche, support with sexual trauma, how to get over sexual trauma, you're going to come up because you've been providing expertise in that area and you've claimed your lane.
Yeah, for
Eric
sure.
Thomas said, choose your lane and dominate it. That's your lane, and I'm excited for you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem. So guys, let's make sure to connect. Hit the link in the bio. I'm gonna have all of his information there. If you're not following us on social, you can click those links too. Make sure to check out Do It Ugly, grab your merch, and we'll see you next time on the BAE podcast. Bye, y'all.
See y'all later.